Hello, my name is Oscar, and with me is my compadre Jen. We're going to do something that's licensed by Nintendo.
Yeah, it's licensed by Nintendo. Almost everything seems to be licensed by Nintendo these days.
Most things.
Nintendo's a pretty big name. Yeah.
Now for some reason it's being quite slow. I will check why that is. Controls, speed, accurate emulation speed, set speed, normal speed, video, filter. Doesn't usually act like this when it's on high performance. Power saver.
Yeah. Don't know what to do with that.
Arc system wise. We're gonna play Guilty Gear X Advanced.
Fun!
Playing this because Jen's computer screwed up a while ago. I play fighting games to prove to you that you can beat up your problems relatively rewards and especially even if you suck at the game. Now, for it's liking to be quite slow at the moment. Quite why this is. If we'll 1 second, we watch me do some mech where everything will go black, then white, then black, then white. And we're going to see what is it that's causing my computer to slow down like a boss. We will probably cut this out, so this will probably just be white noise. Because, you know, everyone likes it when they watch the guy go, let's play a game, while I go through my control panel and get rid of everything that's causing my computer to slow down.
Yeah, that's not exactly fun.
So while we're here, for anyone who doesn't know, Jen is called Starring Now at First Saying, and she does things on her channel. So go watch her, because she does things, which is more than can be said for me at present. So
yeah, you don't update that often.
Well, I might do. Maybe. Kinda.
Eventually.
Maybe.
Eventually, you'll eventually do it. At least you're not gonna become like Proton John, whose updates are very, very, very sporadic.
And now faster. Seems slightly faster. Okay. So we're going
Enough that you can play.
Yes, we can. So now we're going to introduce the characters while some awesome tunes play out. While I turn the sound down just a tad. Yeah, this is mainly kind of, let's fiddle around with Guilty Gear X for about a minute while I try and get the sound. Notice at the lowest sound setting, I can't do anything about that bar. Turn my computer sound down by a bit, and turn Jen up.
I'm already a loud person to begin with, man.
I'd rather hear you over the game, because games aren't any fun without people. So, Guilty Gear X. Guilty Gear X is a sequel, I guess you could say, to the original Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear was a popular fighting game by Arc System Works made for the PlayStation, where the characters and their shtick was that they were all kind of based around musical references. And unfortunately for you, I don't know most musical references. I just liked playing the game because they look cool.
Whatever works.
So, the reason why I'm still playing this game, even though I don't know much about it, is I liked Guilty Gear. I played Mugen at one point as well, yes, and sometimes still do, and I like the characters from Guilty Gear. They're unique looking, and, you know, well, they're Guilty Gear characters, they're normally unique looking. So, Guilty Gear, we're playing Guilty Gear X, technically. Guilty Gear X was the sequel, you could say, to Guilty Gear, which essentially just updated the system or / game for the years after the PlayStation on PlayStation 2, and came before the much renowned and tweaked and remodeled version Guilty Gear XX, the Midnight Carnival. Guilty Gear X, the advanced version, came out for obviously the Game Boy Advance, which is why you're hearing some rocking 8-bit versions of 16-bit, GBA-bit, I don't know, versions of Guilty Gear songs. And this version of the game basically is the Game Boy version. It's not much different. I'm not really that knowledgeable of Guilty Gear X. I actually played this a long time ago, and when I didn't even know what Guilty Gear was on my computer, and I thought, I suck at it. And by the way, I'm going to suck so bad, you are going to laugh at how bad I suck. So, we're mainly here just to entertain Jen with how bad we suck. I suck. She doesn't suck at Soul Calibur. I suck at this.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty good at Soul Calibur. Played it enough times, it starts getting easier.
I do, however, know a bit about the characters. Soul Bad Guy is kind of the main hero of Guilty Gear. He is a rogue. He's also a gear himself, which is kind of like these mystical, magical, artificially awesome humans seemingly mixed with animal-like DNA or something or other. Basically mutant humans with awesome superpowers. And he's kind of has a dragon-like fusion going on here. Soul's the renegade guy. He's the typical Wolverine slash loner slash guy with a sword. And yeah, he's pretty cool himself. With Potemkin, he is a powerhouse from the nation of Zep. Basically a place in the future where people have slaves and they have a slave force that works for them. After Guilty Gear, in this sort of universe, the nation of Zep got trounced, in other words, and the slavery that was in the forming the nation got removed. However, he still wears his collar as a kind of, keepsake, as a sign of the slavery that once happened. Bacon is a samurai from the lost nation of Japan. Japan got blown up. Figures! And Bacon lost an arm and an eye. And yeah, she's still pretty cool. She has a robot hand that she can beat people up with. And yeah, robot hand slash armored hand.
Robot hand has to hurt.
Yes, so she does pretty good for how she does. She's a samurai kind of character. Chip Sanoff is a former drug addict who got rescued by a ninja. No, I'm not joking. Who then taught him how to put aside his drug addiction and learn the ways of the warrior. And he shouts a lot of things in battle, supposedly, that are the cliche things ninjas shout in samurai in films. When his mentor got killed by some evil gang members who probably dealt him the drugs in the first place, he swore vengeance and went off to save the world and stuff. Milia Rage, she has living hair.
Okay.
Her hair is a parasite that works in unison with her as a weapon. She is part of an Assassin's Guild, or was part of an Assassin's Guild, led by a man called Zato-1, who also had a parasite fused to him. However, she hated Zato-1 and left him to die at one point, and ran away from the Assassin's Guild. Even now, she runs away from him, hoping eventually that, she will not have to deal with him again, but it's a fighting game. Knowing that, probably will. This is Anji Moto, even though his name is in Japanese. He's one of the last people of Japan. Japan, again, the nation that got blown up. And he fights with fans. He was considered a national treasure, considering the fact that, he's from Japan. No, literally, a national treasure. They try and, keep him in safe areas and, keep him under watch. But at the same time, he left and ran away. And, yeah, he's constantly trying to find his way in the world, I guess. This is Axel Lowe. He's British because he's a British symbol, and he's from Britain because he's British. And he's a time traveller. Let's just absorb that a second.
A British time traveller.
Yes. No, let's not reference that other British time traveller, even though he's technically not British, he just speaks British. But he went to the future, and his Japanese girlfriend, yeah, it's made by Arc System Works, just live with it, got left back in the past, and so Axel wants to head home to the, past by finding a way back from the future he's currently in. And he uses sickles as his weapon. I don't know why, I guess they're like nunchucks. This is Venom. He is the man who is in love with Zato-1. Yeah. Video games, they aren't afraid to deal with relationships of other men. But still, he likes to swing around with his bare chest. He hides his face under the cowl on his face as well. He hates Milia, obviously, because, you know, Zatu won. She hates him. He hates her for hating him. He loves Zatu won. And he fights with a snooker cue.
Oh,
Or in other words, he fights with a pool thing. And snooker balls. Never mind. This is May. She's slightly older from when she was, because I think she was like a kid in Guilty Gear, but she is a young girl who fights on the pirate ship, the jellyfish. I think it's the jellyfish, the May ship, the Mayflower, I don't know. On a pirate ship. She's in love with the pirate ship's captain, Johnny, who is many years older than her, who she considers both her brother, father, and love, and it's confusing. She fights with an anchor, and she's cool, because she fights with an anchor.
that has got to be one heavy anchor.
Yes, it is. But she seems happy with it. This is Zatu 1, who we've already mentioned twice, and his parasite is a shadow being called Eddie. He lost his sight for gaining the ability to use his shadow parasite, and he hates Milia for leaving him for dead. And he's off to kill her. Zatu 1 doesn't know that he's actually dying, and that slowly Eddie is taking over his body. Just so you know. This is Jam Kurosaki. I think it's Jam Kurosaki. This is Jam. She owns a bar, and she was the pseudo winner of the previous Guilty Gear tournament, the one in the original Guilty Gear, after Sol, I think, let her win or something and claim the prize money to build her bar. She fights with just herself, really, and she has ninja-like moves and can stretch really far to hit things, and yeah, she's pretty cool. She is a waitress slash bar owner, and she doesn't put up with rubbish. This is Johnny. He fights with a stick that is in actual fact a samurai sword. He's the captain of the ship which May was raised on. He found May when she was a child and raised him, even though May fell in love with him. That's kind of weird. And yeah, he's the womanizer, but he's a good-hearted womanizer. Go figure. This is Faust. He's based off a character in the original Guilty Gear called Dr. Baldhead, who was an insane physician who was once the greatest physician in the world. But when a little girl died in front of him, he lost all faith in humanity, went insane, and then decided to kill things with a giant scalpel. However, at one point, he found the spirit of the little girl, who kind of, I think, told him the truth, that she hadn't got killed by him, but by evil gang members, and he felt sad, guilty, torn apart, decided to become redemptive, adopted the name Faust, and put on a bag on his head to go kill things that are evil with a giant scalpel. Yes.
Interesting story.
To finish, we have the pseudo-second protagonist, Kai Kiske, or Kai Kiske. Kai Kiske. He's a guy who fights with a rapier slash slight weapon. Rapier, sword, I guess. And he hunts Sol Bad Guy, who's essentially his rival, and he believes in justice, while Sol believes in freedom, I guess. And Kai is a good guy, I guess. He's a very holy guy. He fought in the original war with Gears towards the end, and he knew Sol, who originally fought in the same order as him, but Sol then went and defected. Well, not defected, he left, stealing a sword, and Kai hunts for Sol because, yeah, he's a renegade. Though later they end up pseudo-friends, who knew? So yeah, we're going to leave it to Jen to choose who we're going to play as. Or we can just leave it.
Let's just go random and see where it leads us.
We're going to be Johnny. Guilty Gear. Character number 08, Johnny. And bear in mind, I don't know many moves, so let's see. Coming stage versus, well, versus Venom on Nirvana, which is the stage name. Good luck!
You'll need it!
Johnny versus Venom. Heaven or Hell? Let's rock. So basically, Guilty Gear on this thing, obviously you can see a very big disadvantage compared to the normal Guilty Gear games, because it's kind of small. You kind of have to, well, you know, it's hard to describe really. Jen, if you like, you can describe your first initial impressions based on just watching this.
Well, I think the one thing is with fighting games,
So you're saying that handhelds have a certain limitation placed on them, which console game? Johnny wins! It's important to dress properly for a fight. Perhaps you need a new outfit. Yeah, so next is Angimoto, and we're fighting on Colony, which is where he's meant to live. And as soon as as soon as we introduce this, Jen will continue to explain the advent of fighting games on the DS and what people now expect from handheld fighting games. Johnny versus Angimoto. I can kind of get what you mean, and there's a lot of debate. I think I remember once someone arguing how can Brawl be a fighting game because of the way it's so different from a regular fighting game. You don't have health bars, you have percentages, you don't have normal deaths, you have knocking off the stages, and the physics are kind of different from, let's say, well, Guilty Gear or something like Soul Calibur. Well, on that note, we're about to go to Russia to fight Milia Rage, and now you'll finally see, kind of, because it's kind of small, her hair in action. Good luck! Oh, wait. Darn it. Oh.